Tragic details about Carroll O'Connor's only son. Heartbreaking. Late actors Carroll O'Connor and Larry Hagman's sons found themselves in great danger 27 years ago on Malibu Beach. While the near-death ordeal of their sons tested their role as fathers, it also helped solidify the actors' long-lasting friendship. Acclaimed actors Larry Hagman and Carroll O'Connor's close relationship lasted for over 2 decades. Hagman shot to stardom for playing Major Anthony Nelson in the 1965–1970 sitcom I Dream of Jeannie. Meanwhile, O'Connor found widespread fame as Archie Bunker, the main character in the CBS television sitcom All in the Family and its spin-off series, Archie Bunker's Place. The actors' humble start. Before their Hollywood fame, both actors started a career in theater. O'Connor was an assistant stage manager for a Broadway show in which Hagman appeared. They became friends at the Terrain Hotel in Boston. Hagman recalled how O'Connor used to come over to his New York apartment when humble beginnings had him living in a cold-water flat. O'Connor lived 2 blocks away from Hagman's 10-room home with 3 bathrooms with hot water. Since O'Connor lived in a cold-water flat, he would come over to Hagman's place on Saturdays. The return-to-me actor would take a warm bath, have dinner with Hagman, and look after Hagman's little daughter, Heidi. The little girl was Hagman's daughter with his Swedish wife, Major Axelsson. As Hagman and Axelsson lived in their New York home, Hagman's accountant suggested they buy and look for a house in Beverly Hills. The couple, who also share a son Preston, lived frugally. The pair's frugality led them to save over $15,000. In his Hello Darlin' memoir, Hagman stated that since he worked so often, he and his wife did not have the time to live or spend lavishly. Axelsson told Hagman they should live in Malibu since it was her dream to live in that place. They found a large, pink asbestos-sided house at a beach in Malibu colony worth $115,000. From New York to Malibu, Hagman documented his family's journey to a new home in his memoir. The couple put down $15,000 for the beautiful house, their largest expenditure at the time. Hagman's whole family eventually moved to Malibu from New York. As their first candlelight dinner at home, they ate a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken on paper plates on the floor. A few weeks later, O'Connor and his wife, Nancy, brought their only adopted son, Hugh, along for a visit. Hagman's son Preston played with toy trucks on the sand with Hugh. Both boys were 6 years old. A plane's sudden landing. While watching their sons play on the sand, Hagman shared to O'Connor how fortunate he was to live in a safe community. But at that moment, a plane took an emergency landing on the beach out of nowhere. Hagman stated that he and O'Connor were horrified when the plane crashed on the beach, barely missing their little boys. It was a pre-World War II aircraft with a single engine and an open cockpit. After the worried fathers ran towards their sons, O'Connor and Hagman found the plane buried in the sand. A pilot came out of the cockpit unharmed yet disappointed in the way his plane landed. The disgruntled pilot saw the actors nearby with their boys and yelled at them, saying he could have landed his plane perfectly if the kids were not playing in the sand. O'Connor was offended by what the pilot said and felt angry. Hagman stated that he had to physically restrain the furious actor from attacking and beating the pilot. O'Connor's unexpected loss. Since that near-death incident of their sons, Hagman and O'Connor's friendship solidified. Throughout their bond, they shared ups and downs, as well as dark emotional bottoms. After 27 years since the plane crashed on the sand, O'Connor's son, Hugh, who became an actor, took his own life in 1995. He suffered a gunshot wound on his head. His son was 33. Finding purpose after a nightmare. The young actor was addicted to various drugs, including cocaine, for 16 years. Hugh's death was difficult for O'Connor to bear as he was the last person his son called before taking his own life. During O'Connor's last phone call with Hugh, the latter's final words were, "So long, Pop." The doting dad broke down, as his son's tragic death was his worst nightmare. He blamed songwriter Harry Perzigian for supplying Hugh with cocaine, but the musician denied it. Since his son's death, the emotional father became a staunch crusader against drugs. Advocating against drugs was cathartic for O'Connor as he found a new purpose after his son's death. He became a longtime advocate for the Drug Dealer Liability Act. The act, also known as Hugh O'Connor Memorial Law, has allowed victims to sue drug dealers who caused their deaths. Several states, including California, enacted the law in 1997. O'Connor's death. As time progressed, O'Connor's life slowed down and eventually passed away in 2001, after a heart attack. He was 76. He left many fans, Hagman, and the All in the Family stars heartbroken. Jean Stapleton, who played O'Connor's on-screen wife Edith Bunker in the classic TV series, described her co-star as one of the finest and versatile actors in the country. O'Connor won 5 Emmy Awards during his extensive career, 4 as Archie Bunker and 1 as the police chief in another popular TV series, In the Heat of the Night. Meanwhile, Hagman described O'Connor as a problem solver, a giver, and mentor for 40 years. 11 years after his friend died, Hagman passed away in 2012 from myelodysplastic syndrome due to throat cancer treatments. Hagman was 81. His death happened when he became a part of the cast in the second season of rebooted Dallas TV series. He previously appeared in the same drama series in 1978.